every single HR person that I know is just so like black and white, and there's just the things that they have to deal with are so outrageous. And I'm like, you guys have not been in the car business. Like, you don't know. It's pretty crazy. And so, I always joke and I say that my HR moral compass kind of like got a little, instead of black and white, it went kind of a little gray, because you have to learn to work with the dealer. You have to learn to work with the sales managers, with, service. Everything is so different. Everybody is so completely different. I was just talking to somebody when we were using predictive assessments to pick our star performers. And when you want to pick a star performer, you are looking for a specific personality type. And you know what that personality type is like. That personality type needs to be an extrovert. He needs to be a charmer. He needs to also have his own personal agenda, almost like a little bit sociopathic, because these people need to be able to, go out there and make the sale. And it is what do you call it? An ego booster, kind of thing. So that these people are just amazing at making connections, amazing at letting you hear what telling you what you want to hear, amazing at just like all this gift of gab. And they are probably horrific at paperwork. And so the accounting department is always fighting with them and hating them. This happens all the time. It didn't matter what dealership you worked at. You always had, the accounting department chasing after them because, they couldn't get their paperwork filled out, but they were selling cars, So yeah, it's pretty crazy.
So by design, if you're going to go by a personality profile test, you need to go with someone that has a high risk of getting in a little bit of trouble once in a while.
Literally. Mm-hmm.
You could go the safe way, but they just wouldn't produce.
They wouldn't produce. And that's exactly, yeah, you're absolutely right. Flirty, charming, all this stuff. This one was an actual sales manager. Maybe he was a GSM actually. And this was a person that was like, he was good looking and he knew it. And he just had this like persona about him, and he carried himself the right way. He knew what to say. He was just a great guy. And how does your common sense leave you? I have no idea. But this guy, started texting with a client, and after the purchase was done, after everything was, completed, and, things are okay until they're not okay. We had talked about that before. And the difficult thing is that you may think they're okay all the time, but the other person is the one that all of a sudden is not okay anymore. It's never about intention. It's always about perception. So this guy probably never meant to do any of it, but the text messages started getting a little bit, like.
So this is a manager or a general sales manager and a customer?
Yes, a customer. And so they were flirty, and they got more flirty, and she seemed to be okay with it. And next thing, he decided to like just take his shirt off and send a picture of the shirt. At least, it was a shirt. At least that was it. But she didn't like that anymore. Then she was like, now we crossed the line. But when do you know that you're crossing the line unless they tell you that you're crossing the line? And by the time you cross the line, it's too late. It's done.
I think about HR liability where sexual harassment or hostile work environment or whatever, or ethnic this, and making it so something about work environment and then causing a liability that the dealer or an owner or a business owner may need to write a check for. Does that liability exist when it's customer and employee?
Absolutely.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like sexual harassment from a customer? That's the same liability as in the workplace?
Well, no. Okay, so let's answer that question. No. So in this particular case, she could have gotten after him directly, civilly. She could have gone, after him directly for that. She complained to the company, and the dealership actually fired him because it was like, the thread of text messages was sent, copied, everything was sent over. So there was like, come on, that was just poor judgment. So no. So that would not have been through the EEOC, the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission means. That would not have been that way. So as an employee, then you would then go to EEOC, file a claim for sexual harassment, and then it goes that way. And then the company has to, investigate, find out if it's founded, unfounded, and then most likely 9 times out of 10, you have to just settle, just to make it go away.
Publicity, yeah, right. It's just the pain. Like, wow, a manager sending shirtless photos. I may have done something like that, except I knew that would end all flirting if someone saw me with my shirt off, but that's for a different show.
When I first got to Florida and I bought my first car, I did my whole process, bought my car, everything was fine. And oh my gosh, 3 days after, my salesperson would not stop calling me, calling, and wanting to go out. And I was really freaked out because I was here by myself. I just got here. It was, 2001, and I was by myself. And so it was a little creepy because he knew where I lived. He had my address. He had all my information, that guy.
Right. Well, right. Of course. Now, before I was married the first time, oh my God, 25 years ago, that was where I got a lot of my prospects, was of course somebody that bought a car, but we were always walking
prospects.
We were always walking the line of, if it doesn't work out, I don't want to get a bad survey. Luckily, it never got, it never had an ugly situation. I married one of them, a customer once also, but met Max's mom. But, it's funny because, we had a outwardly gay employee that so we won't mention the store, that used to let us know that sexual harassment would never be reported, but only rated.
He would say that to me when I would do sexual harassment training.
Oh, so you know who I'm talking about? Okay. And
absolutely.
And one of the most hurtful things he ever said to me is he says, "Jeff, your wife is so cute. That is the only female that I would ever think of being with." And I said, "Well, that's terrific. What about me?" He goes, "Nah, you're not my type." I said, "So you'd switch before you'd be with me?" He goes, "Yes." I said, "Okay." So, that's really wounding.
This has been Jeff Stearns, Connected Through Cars.